This is a Intergy training progress note number 4. Um, Carmen is behind me, she's laughing at me because I'm doing the video. Okay, then remember we said on the previous video that there's different way to do the note. One could be from scratch. You can right click, add text, or you can have something that is personalized for you that you already created and you can add it over there. For example, if I want to add over here a reason for the visit, for example, wellness exam, then I have to do add over here. This then I have to add it or chair or personal. Let's put a chair. Wellness exam. Then you save it, and then next time when you come over here, if you click over here and share, you have wellness assignments. Just only click it. In reason for the visit, we don't use it very often because medical assistant they used to put the reason for the visit. On my case, I told Armando not to put any reason for the visit because I used favorites 99% of the time. Then on history of present illness, you can do the same. You can put whatever you have shared, whatever you have saved for the past if you want. Then that's one of the ways that you can do your notes. One section by one, you can type it. Remember, add text or something that you already have saved, you can add it. That's one of the ways. The best way is using the favorites. Remember, for example, someone with IBS. It's stable, has IBS. I click over here. I have pretty much everything that needs to be in IBS. In IBS, and then your physical exam, you have your counseling, and you have the diagnosis. This is the easy way. But what I want to explain, the other way to do your notes is just going to the forms. Usually medical assistant, they already use this one. You click it, and then you go one by one on the section of on the form, and you click and you complete whatever all the notes, clicking all of these sections, which is very annoying and it's time consuming. Also, it's very difficult. The easy way, one more time, favorites, and then you have to edit favorites a little bit. Add when you come over here, you have review system and PE. If you use favorites and you click here, auto negative, everything that you did not click and your favorite is going to be click negative on that page. Well, the other way that you can find that you can do your notes is just here in search. I didn't mention that on the other video, and then you can put, for example, headache. Your medical assistant already put headache on the reason for the visit. Then you have history of present illness, headache. Then you have location, quantity, okay, on the entire head. Quality is steady. For example, you can severity is distressing or mild or horrible, whatever. See how many options you have. If you click, you have history. If you want to say that the patient has taken medication for pain, or you want to say whatever you want to say in the history, you have review system for headache that you can just click over here and then say headache, for example. Then you have sinus pain, you have neck pain or no neck pain, whatever you want. You can just go by here and do your notes. This is not a bad way to do it. And then your physical exam, you have physical exam for headache. For example, you can say no headache at all, which patient did not have headache at this moment. Remember, when you click on this find it, whatever is going to be in the notes is whatever displayed down here. Sometimes the minus doesn't mean negative or no. Sometimes minus mean that the patient have the symptom. You have to look at that. 99% of the time, if you click the minus, mean no, but it's not always, not 100%. Then this is the test that you want to do. This is your diagnosis. You have headache syndrome. Okay, over here you can click. You can be more specific. And therapeutic. This you prescribe acetaminophen, caffeine, or whatever aspirin, caffeine. Then you can do your note from here. See, let me show you how it looks like. See, we have we have IBS because we use the favorite for IBS, and wellness exam because we just was practicing. But imagine that your medical assistant has put over here that the patient came because headache. Then you have headache on the entire side, on one's entire side, which is steady, distressing, horrible, mild, severe. See, it has everything you need on your note. And the next step will be order and charges, which is the one that I want to explain to you today. But this is another easy way to do the notes too. Then there is here, if you want to look for the ICD-10, you click here and you can type and it will pop up the ICD-10. But also we have favorites over here on list. This is common symptoms. If I click over here and then come back here to disease or diagnosis, I'm gonna have a list of common symptoms. Like if I click over here, the only thing is gonna be my notes. See, in assessment and plan, it's gonna be edema. But if I go back over here and still in this common symptom list, I can click any other common symptom, a typical chest pain, and it's going to be showing on my assessment plan. That's another way. We have a list that we have saved according with this is common symptom. You want to change this one, you click here, and you have diagnosis by imaging result in the abdomen. For example, here you have hepatobiliary disorder. That one did not have any anymore. I have to create more on this one because it's always good to have more way to do our job. Then you click over here, viral words. Because that diagnosis sometimes is difficult to find. You can just click it over here, and then you have it in your diagnosis, in your assessment plan. When we go back again, you click here, and it's gonna come over here. These are all the MRA codes. I want to go over this MRA code. I'm going to create all the MRA codes over here. But here you have some of them. Then you can click, and then it's going to be showing in your assessment plan. That's another easy way to do it. But what I want to do with this video is just go into order and charges. Now remember, whatever you do here, not necessarily is going to be shown in your note. You should do your note first, and then you should move down here. Then hepatobiliary disorder do not have ICD-10, then you have to click and just be more specific. I just choose one. Then if you click over here, this is the most interesting part of this section. If you click over here and you have this diagnosis click, you're going to have over here all the prescription medicine that you have for this disease before. With this patient or with all patients, we don't have anything because we don't have any patient with this condition, and we don't have anybody, and there's no medicine for this condition. But for example, if you have here viral wards and have azithromycin, that means that at some point someone, including me, most likely me, prescribe azithromycin, and we hook the azithromycin with this diagnosis. That's why it's very important when you guys do the note and we send medication, link the medication with the right diagnosis. But for example, you have irritable bowel syndrome, and then you have, if you click over here, this patient will never prescribe anything for irritable bowel syndrome. And if you go all, you have the cyclomine 10, 20, you have metronidazole, you have cyclobenzaprine, you have Librax, so everything that has been prescribed, and it's easy, very easy to get it from here. Do you want to send it to gastroenterology? Just click over here. You don't even have to go over here. Do you want this note? Do you think it's a level 4? the code, you have it over here. Or did we collect blood on this patient and the medical assistant haven't been for that one? You can click over here. Then if you want to prescribe medicine, the medicine that you have, then here you have all medicine that have been prescribed for this patient. Then these three tabs are really important, and these are procedures that has been used with this patient in this encounter. See, I already saved this one. If you want to change whatever appears over here for something different, you can change it too. For example, renewable RX, it will be here, but we have medication here. Then, but you want to change it, you can change it. Then this is when this tab over here. There is a video online. You click Intergy training. You put POM use, and it will show you. I think I did send to you guys yesterday. I did send a link for that video. That video is very good. But just going back over here and without using this one, here you have a series of tabs that you can use. Number one, you're gonna choose your charges. You come over here. If you have favorite and you want to show details, it's going to show all the details. You don't want to see the detail because that becomes too long. You can keep it like this. Then this is EMN code for new patient, established patient, physical exam, new patient physical exam, Medicare patient physical exam because it's different. COA, look, these are the code for CCM, the HIDIS, injection procedures. Those things usually are the medical assistant who click on this one. You're going to use mainly this part over here. Then this patient, we decide, no, this is not level 4. After you save it, the only person who can change it is Lisa. Then you send a task, hey Lisa, I think I make a mistake. This patient do not have, it's not level 4, I think it's level 3. And she will correct it for you. But then if you want to choose the code from here, you said this one here, this is a new patient. Well, let's click, it's a level 4 new patient. If you click over here, the level 4 is going to appear over here with only one diagnosis. Then you want to add the more amount of diagnosis that you can. Then you click over here, you click the diagnosis and you assign multiple diagnoses. Then you have irritable bowel syndrome, and this one's supposed to be the main reason why the patient came, or at least what I do, not always I put the main reason, I put the diagnosis that the patient have that is more important, like if they have diabetes, have congestive heart failure, have hypertension. Those are really important diagnoses. Then I want to add 4 more. Then these are my diagnoses. When she print the super bill, this code is going to be mapped with this all the diagnosis. Then this patient was an established patient. You just go over here to repeat the same thing. Physical exam, Medicare. These are the 3 codes for physical exam, Medicare. This is a welcome to Medicare. We give this code only once in the patient life. The first time that we see a patient with Medicare, he never been seen before, we do the physical with welcome to Medicare. The second year you do the 438, it's only one time in life, and then every year after that will be the 439. Then you click it, you repeat the same thing. See, this diagnosis has been already mapped with this CPT code because that's ICD-10, because this has to go with the encounter, with the encounter that the patient has. Well, now we have a COA. COA is a procedure that we use for Medicare patients. If you click over here, you will have all the code for COA. Then the only thing you have to be careful, COA, you have 2 of them. In the second one, you have pain and no pain. If this patient has pain, you have to remove this one. If the patient do not have pain or have pain, Just do not have pain, you remove this one and then you add the other one. That's really important. On patients that are not Medicare, that we do physical, and we always do this one screening. This one has the alcohol, the antidepressant, and has the counseling and discussion regarding advanced diet for the patient. Then when you go to CCM, you guys don't have to deal with this one. The UNES is the one who does the CCM. The HIDIS, supposed that this patient have diabetes. This patient do not have diabetes. But if this patient has diabetes, you click on diabetes, just imagine that the patient has diabetes, and you choose the HIDIS for diabetes. One of them is hemoglobin A1C. You click over here. The other one for diabetes, the patient is an ACE inhibitor or angiotensin converting enzyme. You click if the patient is on that or not. And then the other one is if the patient has positive microalbumin or negative microalbumin. You click on that one. If the patient has hypertension, then you click over here. Blood pressure is systolic blood pressure is less than 130. Between 130 to 139, or the blood pressure is less than 80. Oh, but this patient has hyperlipidemia. If the patient has hyperlipidemia, the HIDIS for hyperlipidemia are this one of LDL less than 100, which is ideal. You click it. Most recent LDL is in between 100 and 129, is still compliant. And most recent LDL more than 130, the patient failed the measure. Then what I do is the patient has many diagnoses, so those Medicare patients or capitated patients that we need to add as many diagnoses as we can. Since the main diagnosis only go with 4, then I use the HIDIS to add more diagnoses, for example. But when you click HIDIS, they're always going to come already with a diagnosis that's supposed to be for that measure. These are the billing part. There is another way to do the billing over here, which is, let me click save. Okay, everything is just ready for reset. There's another way, is just to come over here and go to encounter node and EMA calculator. This one I do not recommend to use it because you really need to know what is about the billing more to do this part. For example, this is irritable bowel syndrome. It's a chronic condition. This patient has hepatobiliary disorder, which is a chronic condition. Okay, and this is headache syndrome, is a chronic condition. And so suppose that this is chronic condition, has 4 chronic conditions. You recalculate and immediately it's supposed to change over here. It didn't change because we haven't ordered any lab for this patient. Just let me cancel over here and then let me order some tests. Then the other thing that you have, this is charges. Then we have, from here you can say, let me send a task to clinical reconciliation. I already have it set up in this way. It goes to Alani. Hey, I need a record for this patient. Then it gets documented on the chart. If you have something that you repeat very often, she needs mammogram screening. Whatever you wanted to do over here, you can just add it on that task, and then you send you over here. Then that is part of your complexity of your business. Then the other thing that you can do from here, you prescribe meds. Then suppose that you're going to prescribe medicine for this patient, you never prescribe anything, because if you already prescribe something, you click over here, you're going to have all the medicine the patient is supposed to be taking. At least the medicine has been discontinued or expired. But suppose you're going to prescribe amoxicillin. I have clicked favorite, then it just decrease the amount of amoxicillin is going to be. It's going to be the one that I'm using more often. It's going to show me how I have sent amoxicillin before. Then it's easy to click. You have your pharmacy, you have everything. Let me remove this pharmacy over here because we're not going to say anything to anybody. Let's put order and then you have your amoxicillin. Make sure when you prescribe a medicine that you have the medicine with the right diagnosis. Amoxicillin, you send it for vital words, you click over here and then you prescribe the medicine. If you don't find him favorable because something that you never has been sent, you can click amoxicillin and see how many amoxicillin you have to pick from the list. But all the one that is in the system. For example, if you try over here levaquin, what is going to happen, levaquin, even it looks like it's going to go through, levaquin, the system for some reason do not have levaquin as a medicine that could be prescribed electronic. You have to write levofloxacin, and levofloxacin will go through. Levaquin, no. Let me just do this one. It's just checking yours. It's sending the amoxicillin. Because I try to present, you have to choose amount. Let's use one for this video instruction. Okay. Day supply cannot be 0. Then if you go here to medicine, we have the levaquin is in the queen to be sent to pharmacy choice. This tablet, I really levaquin. I was thinking the levaquin was not in that way, but it seems like it's already fixed and we can send it for levaquin. Amoxicillin was already, there's no pharmacy, but it's other, but you have it there. Then when you go back over here, you can see everything you have sent. Then if you go to your notes, you can see everything that was amoxicillin and levaquin. And you did the referral to gastroenterology. Then let's go back over here because there's many tasks, many spaces over here that we have to go over. Lab. The way they order labs is different. We have different options for labs. We go to lab order. We need to know which lab the patient goes. LabCorp or Quest, mainly those are the two that we use. Remember, Care Plus, Simply, and Freedom goes to only LabCorp. The other one, most of the time, can go both, but the Quest is the preferential lab for almost all the insurance. But we have a little paper on each computer that it says whose patient go to who. You click the diagnosis that you have. LabCorp do not allow to check more than 8, but Quest you can check as many as you can. Then you always check the maximum amount you have because that way you can you have less chance to have the test not being covered by the insurance. Then all these lists over here, these are favorites that I already create. The favorites are different categories. The one that I share, the one that are personal, and the one that is client ID. This one, you guys don't use it, personal and share. For example, let's see that we're gonna, let me remove, okay, I'm removing all the tests that I'll have as a favorite. I want to do the CBC for this patient. The system which apply this one here because I already used it before. If not, I can have a whole list of CBC. If I don't see what I want, I click here all. See, the system is loading. I'm not going to complete the order because otherwise the system can freeze. Since I use an Apple, sometimes freeze when I'm trying to do the. Then every single test, LabCorp has many panels that already come with many tests, but wherever is a CBC, it's going to be showing over here. See, it's many of them. But if I use the one that I have shared, it will show over here only those. And then we usually use share and personal. Mainly, almost all the tests I have, all the favorites that I created, I share with you guys. If you're interested in know how to create your own panels, I can show you how to do it. But do not create any panel to share without checking with me before. Then you have to say this blood is going to be collected today or it's going to be collected in the future. If you want to specify when you want the blood, 3 months, that's fine. You want to just be specific which day, you can say I want the blood done this day. And I'm going to use, for example, this one over here has diabetes, hemoglobin A1C, lipid, urine microbiome, and CMP. All of them are here. If I click next, it's going to be saving and it's going to be showing the note. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm afraid that this is going to freeze the system. Let me just cancel it and we'll do it at the end. Then the other way to do all the labs is you have patients who go to their lab, go to their house. Let's apply all patients from Medicare mainly. They go to Apex. When you click here, you have this diagnosis, this code, and you have irritable bowel syndrome. You want to do a CMP. You click here again. It says you have to mark out the order. Then you click lipid panel, CBC, albumin, creatinine, whatever you want. Then this is not the best way to do it, but for example, if we're gonna do an Apex lab, since we don't have our Intergy is not synchronized with Apex labs, we have to order in this way. Then we have to send a task to the medical assistant to fax it to Apex. Mainly, Junet is the one who does that part. Then we have labs over here, lab orders. For labs that if you want to add labs order like a generic for any patient without sending it to the lab, you can do it in this way too. But you ideally, like I said, supposed to be here lab, order lab, and doing it through lab code request. That's the ideal way to do it. Then we still have more options for labs. You will have lab codes. If you have someone who at some point we did not have interface with LabCore, that's why we create this one. We don't need this one anymore because we already interface with LabCore. Then if you wanted to do your radiology test, you're going to order, for example, CT scan for this patient. You click radiology, you have the one that has this little sign is because they are very often, and then I just did it just for them to be on the top. But we have labs by radiology test by category, ultrasound, bone density, CT, CTA. See, you have all of them over here. You do mammogram, you already put the mammogram. You want to do a TD, and you can do it. You want to do 3D screening mammogram, you can do whatever test you want to get ordered from here. Mainly all the tests are over here already for radiology. They have to be probably a very weird or unusual x-ray that we don't do very often. Then if you want to do referrer, you click a referrer, same thing, you have ophthalmology. For example, you click on the diagnosis. This is extremely important. You don't want to send somebody to ophthalmology with a diagnosis of other congenital malformation of the gallbladder. He's going to say, what the heck this doctor want me to do with the eyes and the gallbladder? Just go wherever you want to send the patient to a GI, irritable bowel syndrome, and click GI. Then you can see the referral for gastroenterology is right here. Then you can even click and then you can find the doctor you want to send the patient. For example, we send many of our patients to Dr. Chai. We send a lot of patients to Medrano. If the patient is the doctor you want to send the patient is not here, you can send a task to Eileen and she can add it. or Madeline, she also knows how to add it. If you want to put any instruction on this box, you can do it. You can. I have please send into patient house. For example, this is something that I already have saved. But for example, I send this patient to EI for irritable bowel syndrome. Okay, I want to tell the doctor my main concern is colon cancer. Whatever you want to type there, whatever clinical information you want to give it to the gastroenterology, it will print with the order. Then you just send a request for completion. You send a request for completion because this is going to be sent to the front desk immediately. Going back over here, gastroenterology. If this patient has a capitated insurance that require authorization for this particular referral, then you have to change this one and send it to referral pool. Then the referral pool will get it and they will process the rest. If you don't do it in that way, the patient is going to be calling a week later for referral. Nobody knew about the referral, only you, and nothing has been done for that referral. Then I create this one for DME for patient that needs hospital bed, condom catheter, CPAP machine that you want to prescribe it. You can just click, for example, headache. We want to do a wheelchair. You have to click it and then you send it to whoever you think it should be. Usually, 99% of the time, DME goes to referral department. They are the one who complete that DME process to be done. Then you want to say, well, I want to see this patient for follow-up for headache in 2 weeks. You click here, follow-up, 1 month, the same thing, and then we go to front desk, and referral is done. You don't have to write it on the paper. We write it on the paper because it's easy, it's quickly, and by the time the patient is leaving, sometimes this part is not done. I create this one here like plan. Why? Because when you have someone with irritable bowel syndrome, see, if I want to see follow-up, if I want to give counseling instruction, for example, irritable bowel syndrome, counseling instruction, then I go over here, and in counseling instruction, I have many counseling already here, but I just want to add this one. I want to put something else, whatever I want, it's going to be showing on the assessment and plan for the patient. I want to click here, plan for headache, for example. Yeah, I want to explain something specific for this patient. I want to say, hey, stop caffeine, increase fluid intake. Whatever I want to do, I can type it over here. Then let me save it and see how it looks on my note. Plan, edema, all the clinical reconciliation and the record. See, everything that I want to do or I've been doing with this patient plan. Instruction, stop caffeine and increase food intake. We can do the plan, and we do it mainly the plan in the active problem list of the patient because it's easy. And the good thing about the active problem list, everything of you having active problem list is going to be here forever. It's not going to go away. For example, all the congenital malformation of the gallbladder, okay, patient. So GI recommends observation and avoid hepatotoxicity, for example. Then that will stay. We hear an assessment and plan. We move this one now to copy to problem list. Then the problem list for the patient, we have that forever. It's not going to go away. Every time you open a note for the patient, that's going to be in the problem list for the patient. Okay, let me see where is problem list. I don't have the problem list over here, but let me add it. See, let me repeat what I did. I didn't have the problem list because we initially, since this was a training, we removed all the section. But I'm going inside, that happens sometimes. I want to add problem list. Oh, this is care plan. I want to add problem list. Understand where is problem list? Active problem list. Okay. I click over here, including comments when site problems. You want that because that would that's explanation of what's going on with that patient specific. See, this is the active problem list for this patient. They had diabetes neuropathy. See, my plan was ta, 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 ta. This is congenital heart failure. Everything the patient we have done with a test close, it will stay here and it's not going to go away forever. You do not want to put over here URI. You don't want to put over here pneumonia. You don't want to put over here sore throat because those are conditions acute. It will go away quickly. The next time when you come, you have to go to problem list and remove whatever is not present. For example, this patient now do not have hearing loss. The hearing loss was because it has settlement impaction. Then you have to click over here and say it was resolved. Resolve it and save it, and it will go away from the problem list. But it's an extra work that you have to do for things that are not important. Reserve problem list for chronic condition. The patient always can have it most of the time. And also for problem that you need to follow up, like a normal breast mammogram. Because if you have a normal mammogram, that's something you know you have to do something about it. Then next time when you come, hey, I see that you have a normal mammogram. Did you have any follow-up for that? And it will help you to prevent a malpractice with this patient. Same thing with thyroid nodule or whatever other condition that needs follow-up, like a pulmonary nodule. Did you need to continue doing follow-up for those conditions? Then you want to keep it here. That way, every time you open the encounter for the patient, you will see those problems. Then this is your note. See, this is everything that we did over here. Then after you finish, you save it. And then you go back to note and you sign your note. Most of the time, you have to assign one of the physician. Just let me sign this one. Okay. This is pretty much what I have. Please just go back to me. Any section that you think it should be more specific, any section that need more detail, let me know and we can do a video with a specific section that need more detail. I'm going to start doing videos now about the MRA code. It's extremely important. We're working with capitated patients, and unfortunately, that's the future. And if we don't learn how to do MRA, how to codify, how to document an MRA, we're going to be lost. Then next video is going to be about MRA.